A suspect arrested in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Police there confirming that 2 people were killed, another seriously injured in a shooting at the protests last night. Just a warning, the footage you're about to see is disturbing. It shows a man sitting in the middle of the street waving a gun at people running by. Now, NBC News can't confirm what happened before or after that recording, or if this is, in fact, the weapon and the gunman responsible for the fatal shooting. Meanwhile, this afternoon, President Trump says he's sending federal law enforcement and the National Guard to Kenosha, Wisconsin to restore law and order. The president tweeting, "We will not stand for looting, arson, violence, and lawlessness on American streets." NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster joins me now from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Shaq, I know it has been a very busy day. Let's start with the suspected shooter. What do you know about that suspected shooter and what happened last night?
Well, we know that the suspected shooter is in custody. It's a 17-year-old from Antioch, Illinois, which is about 30 minutes from where we're standing right now in Kenosha. And they're not giving many details on what happened, what led to the shooting, the details surrounding it. But they're saying that the 2 people who he shot and killed, or who he's alleged of shooting and killing, are 26 years old and 36 years old. And we know that at least one other person was injured in that shooting last night. Police said last night that the shooting happened around 11:45 p.m. It happened after this park that I'm in right now. This is a place, it's been the flashpoint of protest since Sunday night. And after police cleared out this park and protesters and other people went into the different streets and different areas around here, that is when that shooting happened. There's lots of video out there that people have been piecing together, but they're not giving an official record of exactly what happened. But they are saying that he is in custody at this point. He will be charged, and court records show that he'll likely have a court hearing later this week. I believe it's on Friday. Allison?
All right, Shaq, we also know there was a press conference in Kenosha this afternoon. What did you hear there?
That's right, press conference that just wrapped up. And, you know, we learned a few different things related to the case. One thing in terms of the original shooting of Mr. Jacob Blake, the county or the police chief made very clear he would like to give more information, but it wasn't his department that did the investigating. In Wisconsin, when there's a police shooting, the custody of the crime scene is then shifted over to another department, and we know now that the state is handling the investigation right now. So the police chief said he just doesn't have any details about what the scene looked like and what the causes were. They didn't talk to the police officers because they wanted a separate investigation. But we also heard from the mayor and the county superintendent. Listen to what the mayor said at that press conference.
Violence in the community is not acceptable. Violence to property, violence to people, absolutely unacceptable. And it is up to us to make sure that that does not continue.
When you watch that press conference, they started with the turmoil here in Kenosha. They talked about a 7 p.m. curfew that is now into place. That's the 3rd night of a curfew, and they're actually moving it up an hour, they explained, because they wanted to start clearing people out of parks like these. They wanted that process to start in daylight rather than nightfall. We know the pattern has been peaceful protests by day, some clashes during the evening, and that destruction and last night death that occurs at night. They want to avoid that and do what they can to avoid that, and that's what the officials announced earlier today. Allison?
All right, Shaq, let's take it back a little earlier today and talk about the president's tweets. He says he spoke with the governor, who agreed to accept federal assistance. What else can you tell us about this incoming federal law enforcement?
Yeah, you know, there's some discrepancy over exactly what that tweet meant and exactly what is going to happen. And I'll tell you, we saw that tweet from the president, and minutes earlier we saw a statement from the governor saying that he was upping the amount of National Guardsmen he was sending to Kenosha. Yesterday, there were 250 Guard members in place. Today, it will be 500 members from the National Guard who will be here in this county. But the president saying that Tony Evers, the governor here, accepted his request to send federal assistance. There's some discrepancy because the governor's office is saying there hasn't been any accepting of federal resources. He increased the amount of National Guard and those troops involved. So there's some discrepancy, some uncertainty about what exactly was announced, what was announced by the president and also what was announced by the governor. The governor's still saying, though, that with the influx in National Guard troops, they're hoping that can help both assist local law enforcement, but it can also help prevent some of the scenes that we saw both last night and the prior 3 nights. Allison?
Shaq, this, of course, is all happening because police shot Jacob Blake on Sunday. I can't let you go without asking, how is Blake doing today? What are we hearing about his condition? What are we hearing from his family?
Well, we heard from his family this morning, Allison. His family said he is in a lot of pain right now. They say he is doing better in terms of his overall condition, but they say he is not out of the woods just yet. His family yesterday had that press conference, very emotional press conference, where they went through and gave us a thorough account of his condition. They said he was shot at least 7 times, that he had a bullet lodged in his vertebrae, that he suffered kidney damage, liver damage, damage to his intestines. They made clear that he has a long road of recovery ahead of him. They said during that press conference that it would be a miracle if he is able to walk again. But then they also asked for the prayers of people here in Kenosha and people all across the country. They know the long road to recovery that he'll have, the many surgeries and procedures that he'll have to do, including as recently as yesterday when he had a spinal procedure. They know it's going to be a lot of work, a long recovery ahead, but they are asking for prayers and asking for people to continue thinking about him. And in doing that, they're calling for peace and for any protest in his name to be peaceful, because they want the focus to be on the underlying issue here. Allison?
Yeah. Well, Shaq, we know people around the country are absolutely praying for Jacob Blake to get better. Thank you so much for all of the updates today. A whole lot going on there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.